It's time to make sense of your cat's senses. Did you know cats have more than one nose? The color of your cat's toy may determine how much they play with it. If your cat is watching TV, they're not seeing the same thing you are. Cats can actually hear higher frequencies than dogs, and cats explore their world with their face, not their paws. In this video, I'll chat about each of these topics and how it relates to a cat's 5 senses and why cats are designed this way. I'm Dr. Osk, cat veterinarian since 2004. How many noses do cats have? 2. A traditional nose, the one you are familiar with, and a second quote-unquote nose in the roof of their mouth. This second nose is called the vomeronasal organ, or Jacobson's organ, and it's at the front of their hard palate, just behind those little upper incisor teeth. Probably the most underrated cat sense, a cat's sense of smell is really important, especially in newborns who use their sense of smell to help guide them to their mother's milk before they can see and hear anything. And that sense of smell, that helps them choose the same nipple when they nurse. A cat's second nose is used to pick up pheromones and other complex smells in the environment. Pheromones are chemical signals cats use to communicate messages, information about territory, mating, social cues, and certain emotions. If you've ever noticed your cat after smelling something for a while, lift up their head and just kind of sit there with their mouth slightly opened, lips pulled back a little bit, almost like a grimace, that is your cat smelling with their mouth. And it's called the Flehmen response, or more accurately, stinky cat face, and it usually has developed by 7 weeks of age. That vomeronasal or Jacobson gland is a complement to your cat's nose, focusing on those pheromone messages and some other complex smells. So what's the smelliest thing your cat has experienced when making that face? Let me know by dropping a comment down below. For me, it's going to be my scrubs after a long day at work, which contain, I assume, a few cat smells. In a weird way, when a cat uses their second nose, they're actually tasting smells. And don't think for a second a cat uses their sense of smell just to smell. They also use it for orientation, hunting, communication, social relationships, parenting relationships, even eating. Some say cats are actually better than dogs at distinguishing between different scents, even though it is generally accepted that dogs are better at smelling and have more smell receptors. One thing is for sure, you'll never train a cat to find a specific scent. One situation I would like to chat about, we've all experienced a cat that just can't seem to find the food that is right in front of them. They know it's there, they are just using their nose, not their eyes to find it. And don't think for a second you are fooling your cat by putting their food into a closet or a cabinet. They can smell exactly where it is, even though they can't see it. What toy color do you think cats prefer? As far as we know, putting everything else aside, blue is the color cats probably see the best, followed closely by yellow-green. If we go back to that cat that can't seem to find the food that's right in front of them, it turns out cats sort of have a blind spot right under their nose and chin. So it may in fact be your cat can't see the food that's right in front of them, even though their nose is telling them it's there. Cats are nearsighted. Objects are more clear up close, with some suggesting objects start to get blurry at a distance of 20 feet or more, whereas we humans can see objects 100 to 200 feet away just fine. In other words, if you compare our visual acuity to a cat, we humans are 20/20, while a cat is 20/100 to 20/200. Cats do have a wider view of their surroundings, up to a 200-degree field of view compared to 180 degrees for us humans. 2 reasons why cats are such great hunters, especially at night. More light enters a cat's eye when compared to us humans, and the back of their eye is designed for low light settings, with the tapetum lucidum reflecting light back into the eye. That reflective layer essentially doubles the chance the retina will absorb any light that enters the eye, allowing your cat to see. It also allows cats to see in 1/6 the amount of light that we humans need to see. To learn more about the tapetum lucidum, check out my Why Does My Cat video, which discusses why cats' eyes glow. We see when light enters 2 eye receptors, rods and cones, in the back of our eye, in the retina. Generally speaking, rods detect light and motion while cones detect color. The more cones you have, the more colorful your world. There are 3 different types of cones used to detect the primary colors, red, green, and blue. We humans, we have 10 times the number of cones as our cats, so we appreciate and experience a lot more color than our feline family members. Cats have more rods, so they can detect motion in lower light settings way better than us humans, which is important for hunting and avoiding danger at dusk and dawn. So what colors do cats see? Even though cats have all 3 different types of cones, color detection seems to be around the blue-violet and yellow-green areas. There is some debate here, but generally speaking, cats can see colors on the gray, blue, green, yellow spectrum, with colors like red and pink being a bit more difficult to see. They can still see these colors, it is just harder for them to distinguish colors towards the red end of the spectrum, and they definitely are not seeing the vividness and intensity of each color. Instead, colors cats experience will be more dull and gray. A blue to us will not be the same blue to them. And this can be useful when you are choosing a cat toy for your cat. So choose a blue, green, maybe yellow mouse, not a red and pink one. Ever see your cat staring at a TV? There may be a reason for that. Your cat sees a slideshow, not a continuous TV show or movie that we see. Now stay with me on this one. Cones in the back of your eye need time to rest between images, and the rest time can differ between species. If images are flickering too fast, so fast the cones do not have time to rest, the images fuse together and they look continuous, like you are watching a movie. Imagine turning a light on and off slowly. You see the light on, then you see the light off. Easy. Now, turn the light on and off faster, over and over again. You see the light blinking and flickering, and then it starts to get annoying. Now, if you flick that light on and off so fast, eventually you reach a point where your cones do not have time to relax between flickers, and your brain can't see the difference between on and off. All you see is a light being on. That is called the flicker fusion threshold, and you can think of it as a point when things stop looking like a slideshow and start looking like a movie, or a light that is always on. Anything below the threshold, you see the differences. You see the slideshow. You see the light turning on and off. Anything above the threshold maxes out your brain's ability to see any differences. Whatever you are watching looks continuous, like a movie or a light that is always on. Hertz is the measurement of how many times something happens in a second. Human cones have an average threshold between 48 and 60 Hertz, while cats have a threshold between 70 and 100 Hertz. Most TVs are in between these numbers at 60 Hertz. In other words, 60 images are flashed in front of you every second on your TV. Since 60 Hertz is above our human threshold, we see a continuous TV show or movie on a TV screen, not the individual images. However, since 60 is below a cat's threshold, they see a slideshow of images flickering on the TV screen, like a rapid-fire photo album on your TV. Another way to think about this is a ceiling fan. When the ceiling fan is not moving or moving slowly, we see the individual fan blades. Once it starts moving faster, we cannot see the individual fan blades anymore, just a continuous circle. So when your cat is watching TV, they see the light turn on and off, or the individual fan blades on a moving ceiling fan, not what you are seeing. Your TV needs to have a higher hertz rate, like 120, before your cat can see a continuous show, but probably only in dull gray, blue, green, and maybe yellow colors. And if you see your cat staring at fluorescent lights in the vet's office, they can see flickering in the lights we cannot see. In fact, some suggest flickering from lights, a screen, or any technology may be a source of stress for your cat. So if your cat is acting weird or staring at something, they may be stressed because they see a flicker we cannot see. The good news, you can also use this as an excuse to upgrade your TV. Just make sure to check the hertz before making a purchase. Putting all of this together, a higher flicker fusion threshold, more rods than cones, that reflective tapetum lucidum layer in the back of the eye, a wider field of vision. Cats' eyes are ideal for hunting and seeing ghosts. Every cat owner has caught their cat just staring at something that's not there. Something is there. You just can't see it with your human eyes. And no, it's not a ghost, but it could be a sunlight pattern you cannot see because some studies suggest that cats can see UV light. It might be an insect, shadow, dust in the air, any movement, even air vibrations. This amazing sense that we humans can't really comprehend not only helped them during the hunt, but also protected them from danger. So, who has better vision, cats or humans? That depends on which lens you are looking through. Humans get to see more vivid colors and clearer objects at a distance, but cats can see better with low light, especially detecting motion, and have more peripheral vision. So asking who has better vision is not the correct question. How their vision is different is a better question. And now you know. One thing I did not chat about is that weird extra eyelid cats have that makes them look like they're out of a Stephen King novel when it's up. If you want to learn more about a cat's third eyelid, then check out my Third Eyelids Explained video. Cats can hear more frequency than most mammals, with their ears acting like finely tuned satellite dishes. The shape of the outer ear helps amplify sound to the inner ear. And with those ears working together, they can pinpoint the exact location of prey or danger. How do they do it? Each ear has 32 muscles. This allows a cat to rotate each ear independently up to 180 degrees. Have you ever noticed that little weird ear pouch? That's called Henry's pocket. Even though we don't know exactly what it's used for, some speculate it might be used to hear higher pitched sounds. On average, humans hear between 20 and 20,000 hertz. Cats, on the other hand, on average, hear between 45 and 85,000 hertz. So even though we are similar at hearing low frequency sounds, cats can hear much higher frequency sounds, ultrasonic sounds. If you're like me, those numbers mean nothing. So some low frequency sounds might be something like thunder or a lawnmower. Some middle-of-the-road frequency sounds are human voices and instruments. Some high frequency sounds would be like a siren or a whistle. And cats take it further, hearing higher frequency ultrasonic sounds we cannot, hearing sounds from farther away, and being more sensitive to certain sounds like sirens. And if you're wondering how do cats compare to dogs, cats can hear sounds with a much higher frequency than what dogs can hear. Because of this, some recommend turning electronic devices completely off because they may be emitting a sound you cannot hear that may be stressful to your cat. About 20% of white cats with non-blue eyes are born deaf. If a white cat has one blue eye, that percentage increases to 40%. And if a white cat has two blue eyes, that percentage can be 65 to 85%. Some of these white cats are deaf in just one ear, and if they are, it is the ear on the same side of the head as the blue eye. You are probably aware of the 5 tastes: sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and savory or umami. So which of these 5 tastes do cats have? Cats can taste everything except sweet. Kind of. Cats have 2 receptors for the umami or savory taste, which gives them a strong preference for foods that are high in protein and fat. Essentially meat. The bitter receptors are strong in cats, and their avoidance of bitter tastes is stronger than that of humans and dogs. This likely evolved as a defense mechanism to help cats avoid toxic food. 2 proteins are required for us humans to taste sweet. Cats have a gene deletion which results in them having only one of the 2 proteins required to taste sweet. As a result, cats are the only mammals that cannot taste sweet. Many of you have a cat that likes sweet food like ice cream. There's a good chance your cat is not attracted to these foods because they are sweet, but rather are drawn to something else, like the fat content. Or it could be your cat actually likes the taste of the sweet food. They are tasting something, however, it probably does not taste sweet in the way we would describe it. And since we are on the topic, let me know the weirdest thing your cat has eaten by leaving a comment. If you have a finicky cat and can't figure out why they won't eat a certain protein or a flavor, that's because you have to consider both the taste and smell receptors together, which will determine whether or not your cat will eat a particular food. So while you're looking at the packaging on a cat food, you also have to consider how that food smells to your cat, which makes it even that much more challenging when choosing your cat's diet. When it comes to your cat's sense of touch, think whiskers and paw pads. Whiskers are like your fingertips. Everything you do with your fingers and fingertips, cats do with their whiskers. Whiskers act like a built-in measuring tape to help let your cat know if they can fit through a small space. They are packed with nerves which can help them navigate their world and sense small changes in air currents, vibrations, and movements. Whiskers allow your cat to touch and see their environment, which helps with balance, hunting, and protects them from danger. To learn more, check out my What's Up with Whiskers video. A cat's paw pads have a ton of nerves in them, which allows them to feel vibrations and navigate their world. They can also sense pressure and texture, and that may be important with things like their litter. So which of these senses is the strongest in cats? Smell. So that means anything with a smell, no matter how strong, like air fresheners, laundry detergent, candles, cleaners, especially around the litter box, can be stressful to your cat. With all of these senses taken together, many of which surpass our human abilities, cats, whether big or small, have evolved to become one of the most effective hunters on this planet. However, the top prize goes to dragonflies. So if you think your cat seems picky, jumpy, obsessed, stressed, staring at nothing, or freaking out over the littlest thing, they're not being dramatic. They just live in a different sensory world than you do. Their reality is just different. And now that you know a thing or two about cat senses and how they perceive the world, those weird cat behaviors start to make a lot more sense. And this potentially can help you make decisions in regards to their toys, food, layout of your home, even cat litter. That's it for Meow. If you learned something, like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on my next video.